And the big question is, every time that we go through difficulty, you know how we take our stand and what the result is? By the way, that's not you. The one pointing the finger is. Because the question is, are those around you fully convinced of the grace of our Father while we're going through those days? You know? So I can tell you this morning's story is all about me. Because as you go through difficult times, so how do you respond? You know? And sometimes you miss it properly, you know, convincingly. And the question is that I thought about, and the question is the main question of the story is as we're making our stand, are those around you fully convinced of the grace of the Father that's within you? Difficult. Because sometimes we disagree. One guy in the front, on that side, he thinks he sees 5, the other guy says 7, and we have a huge argument, and at the end of the day, do people think that and realize that the grace of the Father is living in you? Because that's the main question. It's not the answer to do we eat meat in a proper way, or do we keep from eating meat? Can't even pronounce it properly, and eating only veggies. You know, honors, by the way, that's got nothing to do with eating the biblical lifestyle or not. It's not that. It's got nothing to do with keeping Shabbat or not Shabbat. It is the idea of, shall we make business decisions on day 2? Because remember, day 2 in Genesis says that there is a separation that takes place. So separation is not good. There's no unity. We don't make any proper decisions on that weekday. Is it that stories? Or is it, what is the reason that sometimes that our hearts and our lives are separated due to arguments and due to different reasons? So, Romans 14:4, and I don't really want to speak about the reasons this morning. I want to speak about what does it look like when we have those discussions, because that's important. The rest we can sort out, but this is important. It says in verse 4, for when you have an argument, when you have a quarrel with a brother, with a friend, with a brother, remember that our Father has accepted him. Who are you to criticize someone else's servant? He stands or falls before his own Adonai, before our Father. He stands or falls before him. And stand he will, every one of us. Stand we will. This is what it is. Stand we will. Because our Father makes him stand. So who are we to criticize anyone else? Verse 10 says, why then do you criticize your brother? Or why do you despise your brother even? For all of us will stand before the judgment seat of our Father. Now think about the Netzavim. We are part of the Netzavim. We are standing. How are we standing? Verse 11 of the same chapter says, for it is written, as certainly as I live, declares Adonai, every knee will bow and every tongue will praise our Father. Verse 12, consequently, each of us will give an account of himself to our Father. And this is what Yom Teruah is about. Remember the month of Elul, Anila Dodi Vadodili, we are preparing our lives, declaring our Father, our King is in the field, and we are making restitution, we are repenting in areas of our lives that we are missing it, preparing us for when Yom Teruah, when next week Friday evening comes. Friday evening we will be here together, and remember Shabbat morning as well. Just a short ad break. But as each of us are standing, we are called to that day on Yom Teruah. Then it's 10 days away, Yom Kippur. But that is the line in the sand where the world has got a responsibility, and where we will stand before that choice. Will we walk with the Father, or will we get distracted by our own cares, desires, problems? Therefore, let's no longer criticize each other. Instead, make up your mind. not to put a stumbling block or a hindrance in the way of a brother. So, well, Romans 14 is speaking about whether we'll eat meat that's sacrificed to idols, or keep from eating meat, only veggies, or honor one day above another day. That seems to be the context of the whole chapter. But if you take out all that part, what remains is, how do we respond? How do we do this while we are disagreeing? Are people fully convinced of the grace of our Father living in your heart? Because at the end of the day, that is what's important. So,